welcome to my channel. My name's Luisa. How's everybody doing? Yes, we're going to make that gorgeous bracelet you just saw. I'm so excited to show you how to make it. It's a very easy project, so if you're a beginner, this is the video for you. I know I always say that, but you know, there's nothing worse than doing a tutorial that's difficult and that only a few people can do. I want to make tutorials that everybody can enjoy, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one today. But before we get started, I want to let you know about a couple of things. I'm excited to tell you about the Jesse James Rising Star program. I've been asked to participate in that program, and so I will be appearing on Facebook Live on Monday the 18th. So look for announcements on the Jesse James Facebook group, okay? I'm sure they will be announcing it there. They may also feature it on the Magical Mystery Bead group as well. So that's the exciting news, and it's going to be so much fun because I'll be able to interact with you guys, okay? So if you come on there and you have any questions, whether it's about the tutorial, about the necklace I'll be making, or about me, just come on there and ask me whatever you want. I'm very excited to interact with you that way. So anyway, guys, put that on your calendar because I'm very excited to do that. The thing I wanted to talk to you about, guys, is I live in the DC area, okay? And I'll be honest, things have been very, very stressful lately. And I just wanted to say a couple of things because I want to address the elephant in the room, okay? I can't just ignore what's happening. I know a lot of you feel a little stressed out, a little uncomfortable, whatever it may be. The most important thing for you is to take care of yourself, because if you can't do that, then you won't be able to take care of your loved ones and your friends. So find ways to find peace and relaxation. I know many of you already have your craft, which is wonderful. And just know that tomorrow the sun will rise just like it always has, okay? And we are in control of our lives, okay? So just keep reminding yourself of that, and I'm sure everything's going to be just fine no matter what happens, all right? That's all I wanted to say about that. I don't want to get into any political talk with anybody. But I did want to address the elephant in the room because it's something that we can't ignore, okay? And you can always come here if you want peace and relaxation and, you know, something that's more uplifting. And that's why I do these videos, because I want to offer you something that's a little bit more uplifting, more positive, no matter what's going on, okay? Anyway, that's all I want to say, and I'm anxious to get started with the tutorial today. So let me go ahead, turn the camera around, and we'll get busy. Before we start, I want to show you the bracelet. Here it is up close. You can see in advance what it's going to look like. And as you can see, there are some bicone crystals in 4mm and 3mm size. And then here are your 6mm round beads, okay? And you'll need some 11/0 seed beads as well, and some 15/0 seed beads. And so what's nice about this is that it doesn't matter which way you wear it, it's the same on both sides. That's what makes this so nice. Now, each of these components is about 3/4 of an inch long, okay? And I'm not going to tell you how many you're going to need because it all depends on your beads and it depends on the tension of your thread, okay? So you're going to have to figure that out once you create a few of them and figure out how many you need to complete the length that you need, okay? Now let me show you how this looks with different beads. Now here's the same pattern using crystals. And this one has the X pattern just on this side. On the back it doesn't, okay? So that's the only difference. Today we're going to do that X pattern on the front and the back of the bracelet as well, okay? And let me show you how it looks with different kinds of beads. These are some Swarovski pearls, okay? Very different, but very pretty. I love this one. I've made this one so many times and given it away as gifts. And then we have, let me show you this one. Now I made this with the Potomac Beads Best Bead Box, and it was the November box, I believe it was. And these are solidite beads, as you can see. And I used some frosted 11/0 seed beads, a kind of a frosted white color. So I'm not sure if I like this one as much. I don't know, I sort of prefer using these other kinds of seed beads. I think it makes it look a little bit more elegant in my opinion. But I just wanted to show you the different options and how they look. You know, it really changes the look of each one depending on what kind of bead you use, okay? All right, let me show you the beads we're going to be using today. We're going to be using these gorgeous mermaid beads that I purchased at a gem show, and the color is Mystic Aura. They're 6mm, and look how pretty these are. Now, if you don't know anything about these beads, just let me tell you a little bit about them. There's really nothing mysterious about them. The only thing what makes them glow is that there's a little sliver of some type of plating inside each bead. So it runs through the middle of the bead. I don't know if you can see when I turn the beads, you might be able to see it. But because of the spherical shape of the bead, that little bit of plating, there's an example right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right there in the middle of the bead, if you split that bead, there's a bit of plating there, and that's what makes it glow when you turn it. Okay, and that's how these beads are made. So there's nothing mysterious about them, but they do look like they're glowing, and I love them. So we're going to use these. These are the 6mm beads that we're going to use right there. Okay. Now for the 4mm bicones, I'm going to be using these Crystal Paradise Shine Swarovski crystals. That's the name of the color, Crystal Paradise Shine. And I thought these would pick up the same type of colors that are in this mermaid bead. So we're going to be using these. For the 3mm bicones, we're going to be using this Swarovski bicone. The color is Comet, and I don't remember what the ARG stands for, and I forgot to look it up before making the video. But anyway, I've had these forever, and I think I bought like a wholesale pack, and I think it came like some, well, it says right here, a packet of 1,440 bicones. It was huge, and I bought it quite a while ago, and as you can see, I still have some left. So we're going to be using these. Now, if you'll notice, right here in the middle is a little 3x2 lapis rondelle. This is from the December box. So instead of that, we're going to be using this rondelle. This is by Bead Landing, and these are 3x2 as well. So we'll be using these. I'm going to be using these 11O seed beads from Jill Weissman Designs, and these are in an antique silver. I'm also going to be using these 15O round seed beads by Miyuki, and the color is nickel plated. And you're also going to need a toggle clasp of some kind. This one's really pretty. This one has rhinestones on both sides, and I got it a long time ago. I think I got it on Fire Mountain Gem, but I doubt they have it anymore. But if you do a search, maybe on Etsy, you might be able to find them. And I'm going to be using 6-pound Fireline, okay, and it's in a smoke color. And I like this color with these types of beads just because I think it looks better than using anything else. You might be able to get away with something that's like the clear color or something lighter, but I like to use smoke. And of course, you're going to need a size 11 needle. Okay, I have my needle threaded, and I have about 2 yards worth of thread on here. And if you're a beginner, guys, don't use that much, okay? Use a little bit less than that, something that's more manageable. I want to remind you about the timestamp down in the description, and I put them there just in case you have to leave your work for some reason. You can come back and finish whatever step you're on. Another thing that I may do, I don't know if I'm going to be doing it on this video, but I may fast forward through some steps, okay? And I apologize about that. It's just that I don't want the video to be too long, okay? So if you need to hit that pause button to catch up, by all means do it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start by threading on one 11O seed bead, one 6mm round, another 11O seed bead, one 4mm bicone, another 11O seed bead, another 6mm round, another 11O seed bead, and another 4mm bicone. So this is what you should have, okay? Bring it down to your tail, all the way down, and you want to leave yourself about a 6-inch tail. Okay, once you do that, pick it up and do a couple of overhand knots. So this is what you should have. Now you're going to go around the entire thing one time. and then continue to get away from where the tail is, okay? And you want to come out of a bicone. Just like this, okay? All right, so now we're going to form the X that goes on top. So for that, you're going to need 3 15-0 seed beads, 1 3x2 rondelle, another 3 15-0 seed beads. Okay, you're coming out of this bicone here. You're going to go straight across to the opposite side and enter the bicone from the opposite side. Okay, so this is what you should have. And pull. And that should pop that rondelle in the middle, diagonally across. Okay? Pick up 3 15-0 seed beads. You're coming out of this bicone here. You're going to go straight through the rondelle in the middle, like this. Pull. And this is what you should have. Okay, pick up another 3 15-0s. And go in through the bicone where you started, okay, to finish that X. And I'll show you in just a second what that looks like. Just like this. Okay, so it's kind of like a figure 8. Now you're going to continue, you're going to go through that same exact thread path one time. So go through the 3 15-0s in the beginning, the rondelle, continue down the other 3 15-0s on this side, through the bicone, and through the 3 15-0s and the rondelle on this side now, like this. You want to pull as you go along, and don't be afraid to turn your work, okay? And then finish off that figure 8 by going down those 3 15-0s and back through the bicone where you started, just like this. So this is what you should have. Flip your work around. So now you're on the back side of it. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You want to load 3 15-0s, 1 3x2 rondelle, another 3 15-0s. Okay? You're coming out of this bicone here. You're going to go across to the opposite side, entering that bicone from the other side. Let me turn it this way so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Pull. Turn it and then grab 3 15-0s. You're coming out of this bicone, you're going to go through the rondelle, tighten it up, pull it, turn your work again and grab another 3 15-0s. And you're going to go back through the first bicone that you started from, just like this, and pull. So now we have the X on this side, and again you want to follow the exact same thread path. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see I have that little X on the front and the back of this component. I'm coming out of this bicone. So now I'm going to travel through the seed bead, the 11-0, and I'm going to exit out this 6mm round, okay? And guys, don't panic if you don't know which one. I know there are two of them, okay? But it's really not critical which one, okay? Just as long as you come out of a 6mm round. So now we're going to create the connection between this component and the next one that we're going to make. Okay, so for this we're going to need 3 11-0 seed beads, 1 3x2 rondelle, another 3 11-0 seed beads. Okay, you're coming out of the 6mm round on this side. You're going to enter it from the opposite side like this and pull. And this is what you should have. And now you're going to go through all of the beads that you just added. Back through the 6mm round, and then back up and exit off that rondelle, just like this, okay? All right, so now you're going to pick up another 3 11-0 seed beads, 1 6mm round, and another 3 11-0 seed beads. Just like this. Bring them down. You're coming out of that rondelle. You're going to go back in through the opposite side. And pull. Okay. And again, you want to reinforce the entire thing. So you're going to go through all of the beads you just added in this round. The 3 11-0s, the 6mm round, and the other 3 11-0s. And then come back out of that 6mm round. And this is what you should have. And now we're going to form another component just like we did here. Okay, so this is the first bead in that component. So the next bead will be an 11-0 seed bead, then a 4mm bicone, another 11-0 seed bead, a 6mm round, and an 11-0 seed bead, another 4mm bicone, and another 11-0 seed bead. Okay, we're coming out of this 6mm round. We're going to enter it again from the other side now and pull. And there's the beginning of the next component. Okay, I flip my work around just because it's easier for me to go through the beads. Don't be afraid to do that, guys, okay? So I'm basically going around the entire thing one more time. To reinforce, okay, just like you did in the beginning. And then you definitely want to exit out of a bicone, okay? So now we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to do the X pattern on both sides. So you want to load 3 15-0s again, just like you did before. Same exact steps. 1 3x2 rondelle, another 3 15-0 seed beads. Okay, and again you want to go across to the bicone on the opposite side. So you're going across diagonally like this, 350 nose, you're coming out of that bicone, you go through the rondelle, and then another 350 nose. Go back through the bicone where you started, just like this, and pull, and there's your X pattern, okay? And now you're going to follow that same exact thread path, and I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I went through the entire thread path again. So now you're coming out of the bicone, and just like before, turn your work around and continue by forming the X pattern on this side of the bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and don't forget to reinforce by going one more time through the same exact thread path, and I'll meet you back. And don't forget, guys, I will leave the timestamp for that down below. So just look for a timestamp that says creating the X pattern, okay? Okay, I've finished the front and back of this component now, and don't worry too much about these gaps because we're going to be taking care of those later on, okay? We've got a couple of other steps coming up that's going to insert some other crystals in here and take care of these little spaces. So now I'm coming out of the bicone, so now I'm going to go out through the 11-0 and the 6mm round. And here's where you would add your connection, okay? So just like before, you're going to pick up the 3 11-0s, the rondelle, 3 11-0s, reinforce, and then 3 11-0s, 6mm round, 3 11-0s, and reinforce, okay? And then just continue adding your components just like we did this second one. I'll leave the timestamps down below. Sooner or later, you're going to run out of thread, okay? So I'm going to show you in the next segment how to finish off your tail and how to add new thread, okay? So I'm going to continue adding these components. Go ahead and do the same, and I'll meet you back at the next step. Okay, I'm finishing my final component, as you can see, and my thread is very, very short. So I'm going to show you how to finish off a thread and add new thread, and this will apply to the tail as well, okay? So I'm going to show you how to finish this one, and then you can go ahead and do the same thing with the tail at the beginning that we left, okay? The 8-inch tail or the 6-inch tail. And so it's very easy, guys, okay? All you have to do is find a thread bridge somewhere, okay? And it doesn't matter where, just whatever's closest. Put your needle underneath the thread bridge, pull it through until you get a loop, and then pass your needle through the loop and pull, and that will secure a knot right there. Okay, then you simply move away from where you did that knot, and you find another thread bridge somewhere. It doesn't matter where, just as long as it's away from the first knot. Put your needle underneath, pull it through, and then pass your needle through the loop and pull. And you want to do that about 3 times, okay? So move away and do it a 3rd time. Same thing. And then before you burn it or cut it off, you want to move away from where you did your final knot. And you either snip it off or burn it off. I like to use a thread burner, and I don't think they sell this one anymore. I've had this one for years, but if you go onto Amazon and just put in the search thread burner for jewelry making, you should be able to find one. And I like it because it gets really close in there. The other thing that these are good for is that it burns the end of the thread, forming a little bead at the end. So that offers a little bit more security, but you do have to be careful. Okay, so now that you've done that, now you're ready to add more thread, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'm doing these steps, guys, just for the beginners. I know many of you already know how to do this, but I know that you know, I get a lot of beginners sometimes. So let me show you how to add new thread. Okay, I'm back and I have new thread on my needle, and I've also burned off the tail that I left in the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add new thread. So what I like to do is I like to go in through any of these beads, just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and go around this grouping of beads. Just pull the thread until you leave a 6-inch tail again, okay? And I'm going to go around the beads just like I'm doing a reinforcement of this grouping of beads, okay? So you want to go all the way around until you get to where the tail is. And when you get to where the tail is, you simply do the same thing that you did in the beginning. Do a couple of overhand knots. Okay, and now you're ready to go. And this tail, you're going to have to remove that the same way that you removed the other tail and the end of the thread, the short thread. Okay, so now I'm going to continue finishing this component with the X and everything, and I'll be done. So when you get done with this, you're going to exit off the 11-0 seed bead right here, okay, at the very end of this bracelet, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm back and I've reached the desired length, and it's looking really pretty. And so I'm coming out of this 11-0 seed bead, as you can see. So you want to go ahead and go through the 6mm round. Okay, and now you're going to load four 11-0 seed beads. Okay, one of the 4mm bicones, one 11-0 seed bead, and then your toggle clasp, and it doesn't matter which end, it can be the ring end or the bar end, it really doesn't matter, and pull, bring it down so it's like this, okay? And now you're going to go through the 11-0 seed bead, the bicone, and the next 11-0 just like this, and pull. Alright, so now you've attached one part of the end, and now you're going to attach the rest of it. So load 3 11-0s, and now you're going to go in through the other side of that 6mm round, so that when you pull, this is what you should end up with, okay? Just like that. And now you're going to reinforce, so you're going to go through the entire thing, all the beads you just loaded, one more time. Go through the loop of the clasp, and then back down, the 11-0, the bicone, and the 11-0 next to the bicone, and then down the other 3 11-0 seed beads on this side. Okay. Once you do that, go through the 6mm round, and you're going to get another chance to reinforce that clasp later on. So now we're going to continue down the length of the bracelet to fill in the gaps, or to tighten up the gaps and add some more crystals. So as you can see, we have little gaps here. We're going to close them up. Okay, so let's go ahead and travel through. We're coming out of the 6mm round. You're going to travel through the 11-0, the bicone, and the 11-0 after that, just like this. And there's a gap, as you can see right here. This is where we're going to add an 11-0. Just one, okay? Take it through 2 of those 11-0 seed beads at the connecting point and pull. And as you can see, it pops it right into that little gap, and the gap is gone. Now, right here is where we're going to add another crystal. This is where we're going to add the 3mm bicone crystals. So you're coming out of the second seed bead out of the 3 here. Now you're going to go into the second one out of these 3. Just like this. The second one and the one next to it, and pull, and that pops that crystal right in that little gap. Okay, moving right along, there's a space there, so we're going to add an 11-0 seed bead. Take your needle through the next 11-0, the bicone, and the 11-0 after that, as you can see. And that pops that 11-0 in the little space. And here's another little space that we're going to fill in. So take another 11-0 and take it through 2 of the 3 11-0 seed beads at the connecting point, just like you did before, and pull. Okay, and once again, grab a 3mm bicone and go through the second and third bead in the connecting point, just like this. And that pops that crystal right in that little space. So that's basically it, guys. You're going to continue doing the same thing, you know, filling in the spaces. So take an 11-0, go through the 11-0 bicone and the following 11-0, pull, and again another 11-0, go through 2 of the 3 beads at the connecting point and pull, add your bicone, go through the second and third bead like this and pull. Okay, and as you move down that bracelet, you want to pull so that you know, there's no slack. Okay, that's the only thing about this. If you don't pay attention, you might end up with some slack or some spaces. So you just want to make sure you keep pulling and keep it nice and snug, okay, all the way down. So that's basically it, guys. Okay, it's very easy. Just move down the bracelet, filling in the spaces, add your little bicone in the corners or in the connecting points, and that's it. And so I want you to continue until you get to this 11-0 seed bead right here at the end of your bracelet, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I've reached the end of my bracelet, as you can see. Okay, another thing I wanted to mention, guys, when you add your crystals and fill in the spaces, you may notice your bracelet may shorten a little bit. I don't think it's going to shorten very much, maybe 1/4 of an inch at the most. But, you know, if it's too short, you can always add another component. Okay, it's never too late. When you reach this end, you can certainly add another series of beads here at the end. But I'm not going to do that because mine is just the right size. So I'm going to continue. I'm coming out of that 11-0 seed bead. I'm going to go through the 6mm round. Okay, and once again, I'm going to load 4 11-0 seed beads, 1 4mm bicone, 1 11-0 seed bead, and then the other end of your clasp. Okay, just like this, bring it down. Okay, and if you didn't notice at the other end, the reason we do 4 is because we're going to actually go through this one and then the bicone and the next one. Okay, before we add the 3. So the first time around you do 4, and then the second time you do 3. Okay, so now we're going to do 3. Go through the other end of your 6mm round so that when you pull, it secures that clasp right on top of that bead. And once again, you're going to move through the entire thing. Just one time, because you're going to get another chance later on to reinforce if you want to, okay? And then back down the 3 on this side. And then back through your 6mm round. So now you're ready to move down this side of the bracelet, okay, to add the crystals and the 11.0C beads to fill in the gaps. All right, so you're coming out of the 6mm round, you're going to go through the 11.0, the bicone, and the following 11.0, just like you did at the other end. Pick up an 11.0C bead and move through 2 of the 3 beads at the connecting point. Sorry about that. Okay, at the connecting point, you add your 3mm bicone and you move through the other 2 beads of the 3, okay? There's a space there, so we need an 11.0 and go through the 11.0, the bicone, and the following 11.0. So just like before, guys, just keep going and keep going all the way down until you get to this 11.0 here, okay? Because we need to fill in this space here. Okay, there's a little space right there, if you can see that. So go ahead and keep going until you get to this 11.0C bead, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I've added my crystals and I've filled in all the spaces, and I'm coming out of this 11.0C bead where there's a little gap, as you can see. So here's where we're going to add an 11.0C bead and go through the clasp portion. Okay, now here's where you get a chance to reinforce your clasp. Okay, so you're going to go through all the beads again, and you know, I mean, if you want to do it a couple of times just to make sure that it's nice and secure, by all means do it, okay? I know this part of the bracelet's going to get a lot of wear and tear, so if you want to, you know, go through them again, like maybe another time for a total of 3 times, that's fine. But I'm just going to go through them just one more time. I think that's plenty for me. All right, so now I've added that bead right there to fill in this space, and now I'm going to fill in this space here, okay? So once again, you want to take an 11.0C bead and go through 11.0, through the bicone, and the following 11.0 on the other side of the bicone. And if it gets really tight, don't be afraid to use your pliers, okay? Pull it, and that will fill in that space. All right, so now I'm just going to make my way all the way down the length of the bracelet till I get to this end, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add an 11.0C bead. I'm going to go through the clasp portion one more time, turn it around, add another 11OC bead here and go down the rest of the length of the bracelet, and that's pretty much it. Okay, and then you're going to finish off your thread right here when you get to the end. Finish it off just like I showed you earlier. Do 3 knots, move it around, make sure you move away from the knot. Do your 3 knots, and then that's it, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to finish my bracelet and I'll meet you back. Just to emphasize, you're just going down the beads only. You're not adding anything else, okay? You're not adding anything until you get to the other end. And that's it. You're just basically going through the entire side of the bracelet. Okay, so the 11Os, the bicones, the 4mm, and the 3mm that we added, okay? Down the entire length, just like this. All right, so I'm going to keep going and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm done, and look how pretty this bracelet is. I love it. It's so beautiful. I love the colors, I really do. And those crystals are beautiful up against the mermaid beads. Very, very nice. And look how beautiful it looks. So anyway, guys, that's it. This is a very easy project. So if you're new to bead weaving, this is the perfect project for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I was clear enough on the instructions. Sometimes it's difficult to stay in frame when you're doing tutorials, but if you have any questions or if there was a part that was not clear, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this out, and I'll come back and say goodbye. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I hope I've inspired you. Go out and find some beads, make that bracelet. I know I've made it a million times and I absolutely love it. It's very easy, and once you get the hang of it, it doesn't take long to make at all. So anyway, guys, like I said before, please take care of yourself, be happy, enjoy life, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful year full of relaxation, peace, and creativity. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.